Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's Marc from CricketBatInfo, and today I'm just going to be fixing up this bat from a teammate. So I've got the heat gun, and we're going to take off this fibre tape. Even though I've had this on the heat gun, that's already dried, so if I'm going to peel this up, then make sure that it's actually going to come off without taking the grains off with it. This side I'm just going to peel over because I don't want to put that heat gun on it and then peel the stickers off with it. So I'm just going to peel that down so I can save those stickers. So this is the crack here. So this is the crack here. And it looks like that tape has held it together pretty well. But I mean, you don't want to just leave these things so they get worse. So the first thing I've got to do is I've got to get all this shit off of it, and I'll stop the tape and clean this up. So I've actually used some paper towel and mineral turpentine, only a little douse of it, just to get it nice and moist and just go over it. And you can see there that there's a little bit of tackiness there, but it's pretty much gone. That fibre tape just leaves so much residue. It'll be all over this thing as well. So that's really sticky, but it's not that sticky on there. Now you can see here, this bat, this is a flat face. This is one of the original Atomics. This is an Indian made one. And only because I can check the binding on it. And you can see here, flat face and what we've got going on. It's probably been properly knocked. It does have a bit of Yorker damage down here that's obviously unglued. But that wood is trying to push over the edge because it's so flat. It's not deflecting, it's just starting to deteriorate as the balls are hitting it, and it's deteriorating all along the edge. It's actually got a tiny little bit of feathering down here, but if I can stick my fingernail into it, you'll see where it's opened up there. So we're going to try and get some PVA into that. And these little fine cracks here, none of them have really opened up that significantly. What I'll probably do is give this a sand back and see how it looks. And before I do that, I'm actually going to put a little bit of this cyanocrylate CA glue ultra thin. This is Shane Shed there. You can find him on eBay in Australia, and he supplies the actual glue with a little dropper, which is really handy because that stuff is so fine. It's got the consistency of water. Okay, so it's actually the afternoon. I've given this time to dry, and I'm quite happy with how it's turned out. So I've just turned this into a little bit of a wedge here, and I'm going to open that up. I'll turn that for you so you can see the area we're going to be getting the glue into. I don't want to open up too much because you can actually see that it seems to be glued down this edge here, but not in there. So what we'll try and do is get the glue into that little opening as best we can, and we'll do the PVA first. So what I'll do is I'll just scrape that in. That in and let the gravity do its thing. So there has been a little bit of pushback of the fibres this direction, but it's not as bad as I've seen in some bats. So I'm not even going to bother to try and repair that. What we will do though is we'll clamp the toe and we'll tape this edge here. So I'll start over here, and pulling down, and you can see that glue just pushed out. And then up here, that's that. And I'll come down a little bit more. Okay, that's enough pressure. So that's just pushing those fibres together. Now we've got a nice compressed bond that's going to form, and we'll leave that for 24 hours to dry. And that's pretty much set. You can see the glue here is nice and clear, and this is held up nicely, so I'm just going to release that. You can see there that it's set pretty well, but what I do want to do is just add a little bit of super glue just to strengthen that toe. So I'm not going to put very much in there because it runs everywhere. So what I do want to do is just run a little bit of super glue down these cracks here. I just want to protect the stickers because this stuff absolutely destroys stickers. So a word of caution if you're using super glue, especially this fine stuff, it will just burn through those vinyl stickers. Been there, done that. The other thing is work in a well ventilated area because it does let off fumes. Just going to go along this face and just try and add a little bit into these cracks, just so they don't open up anymore. So now I'm just going to take my sander to it, and even while it's still setting, I'm going to use that sawdust that will come off to get into those cracks and seal them a bit better. Okay, so it's the following day, and I actually gave this a little bit of bat wax last night. I was going to come out and film the rest of it, I just got caught up. So that's actually feeling a little bit tacky at the moment with that wax on it, but that's just going to seal that nicely. And with bat wax, it doesn't get as dark as normal linseed oil because there's obviously not as much in it. Going to wipe that. And I guess the point of this video is to try and show you something that you could do yourself. There's no need to pay somebody to do this stuff. It's pretty straightforward. The other thing I noticed on the back last night was this sticker was lifting, so I just put a bit of that PVA on it and a bit of tape over it, and that should have been stuck down a bit by now. So that's not going to move. It's not a clean fold, but it's better than it lifting up and catching on things. And that had bat wax on the back here too. Obviously just using a paper towel to wipe off any excess. The bat wax actually works with the paper towel to give it a bit of a clean as well. So that's all good there. That edge, so that got some wax on it, and I'll peel that off now. There's a bit of a defined line there where the edge of that sticker is. Tried to get as close as I could there, but that's about as far as I'm going to get without touching the stickers. And as far as the toe goes, off camera, I waited for that to dry and just ran it over my belt sander. So I could have used any sander. Just run it over the belt sander, and I filled it in right along that area with that fine super glue. So that's been just basically added and added and added until the entire area was covered in super glue. And that should just give it a bit of protection and seal it properly. Because of the angle I was working at, it's sort of, I mean, if you were going to do it at home, you might do it that way, or maybe put some tape or something there. That stuff is so fine. And when I did do the belt sanding, I noticed that it was just feathering a little bit here. So I thought, well, I'm going to add some more. And there's no need to put any shoe glue or anything like that. That will hold it together. All those little cracks now, they're all filled. If I run my fingernail on, it's not getting stuck anywhere. I'm just going to use the scuff sheet that I get off of eBay. I've had this for a while. It's thin. It doesn't stretch as good as the premium stuff, but it doesn't crack either. And it doesn't seem to do any damage to the bat if you use a dryer. So I think it's Sport Steel on eBay. And so what I'm going to do is just basically put that down over the face. I'm not going to bother polishing it. Try and center it. If there's any dust there, you'll see it immediately. Air bubbles in that will come out too. Just cut that excess off. That's that. We'll just get this nice and straight. Just going to tighten it up. So all I'm trying to do is just make sure that this edge is nice and straight here. And then I can pull this one over this way. Make sure not to rip scuff sheets up or down the face, because you'll just take the grains with it. Okay. Just pull that tight. Now just work the air out of it. So this area here, all I'm going to do is just cut that off with a straight edge. And then I'll put a little bit of a cut this way so that it doesn't get caught going in and out of bags. Down here at the toe, if you cut too close to the edge of the toe, it's just going to lift up. So just maybe come in a millimetre or two so that it's not going to get caught on the ground all the time. Now, as far as the edge goes, we'll add some edge tape. So I tend to just trim off at a line of fibre, like that. And then I'll add it, maybe come in one grain. Whatever I do on one side, I try to replicate on the other. So press that down on the face first. And get that curve in there. Okay, so that's got a little bit of curvature there. And now basically when I pull down, I do the toe part first, pick that up, and then slowly work my way back to this side here so that it's not going to stick up or anything. Okay, so you could finish there, but because we've had this crack here, I just want to reinforce that a little bit more. Just a tiny bit at the toe edge. I'm going to come across here. And straight across the back, pulling tight. Line it up with that top part there and come back around. So the glue should do its job. I don't want to put too much tape down because if there is any further damage, we want to be able to see it. So there you go. That's the fix up of that, and just a clean up of the face. Very basic. I mean, if you had those tools at home, or even if you did it with sandpaper by hand, take just a little bit longer, but you'll end up with exactly the same result. So if you like the video, then please consider subscribing to the channel. What I do is reviews and anything that concerns cricket bats as far as information. I hope you do enjoy, and see you in the next video.